We're just taking a few moments to go through step two of the Be Well implementation steps out of the Be Well guide. So we'll just take a moment to go through those. I've made it into one concise sheet, so those who have come in this week can just pick up one of those. The whole guide basically is here, broken up into the different chapters with regards to state of mind, subluxation, physical fitness, spinal hygiene, wellness diet or eating, healthy eating, and then stretches right at the end. So yeah, so we'll go through. I'll just share the screen so we can get the piece of the information, the piece of paper up on the screen there. So the second implementation strategy, there's 12 main ones, but then there are extra. So this is Be Well number 2. Obviously, Be Well is the name of, I suppose, the what we want to do. It's think well, eat well, move well, and they're the different components. And that all those together, we will be well and healthy. And this step today is broken up into 4 phases. So phase 1 to 4, and there's different components to those phases. And I'll just go through quickly the nuances or the things just to pay attention to. Firstly, phase 1 is basically 0 to 6 weeks, and this is where we want to create mobility and posture. We want to improve mobility. We want to improve posture, and this is an implementation of the spinal hygiene transition and implementation strategy. So spinal hygiene meaning health of the spine, anything to do with hygiene. We think about dental hygiene, we think about personal hygiene, we think about the country's hygiene. It's about the health of, so the health of our spine. And there's some important components. So phase 1 moves through and educates on mobility and posture, which is very, very important. Then phase 2 is adding stability. Phase 3 is complete remodeling of the structure. And then phase 4 is lifetime wellness, which means things that can be done ongoingly, very easily, to make sure that we keep the spinal hygiene or our spine healthy. Now, the question is, why would we want to keep our spine healthy? Why do we need spinal hygiene? Well, I think one of the fathers of modern medicine, Hippocrates, basically said, if you want to understand the health of the body, look to the spine. And the reason why that is because the spine is the core. It's where everything comes off, but also the spine has the spinal cord. It's basically the origin of the nervous system. All the nerve supply comes from there. And really, he understood, and many doctors understand, I definitely understand, if a person has an unhealthy spine, they have unhealthy function, they have unhealthy movement, they often have unhealthy organs, muscle, glands, etc. So it is a big, big component to being healthy. So that's why spinal hygiene is so important. It's important for every person. So that's why we talk about spinal hygiene in the program as one of the components of Move Well in the Be Well and Be Well guide. And this is why we're in step 2 today. So if we just look at the timeframes with regards to the implementation, the first phase goes from 0 to 6 weeks. So we really want to complete mobility and posture. We want to improve that within the first 6 weeks. So it's very intensive. And then from 6 weeks to 6 months, we want to add stability to that. So we want to increase or change things with regards to that. So if we look, first of all, I've got chiropractic adjustments. Now, chiropractic adjustments are in a section of their own. Okay, there's a whole component with regards to what adjustments are, what they do, why they're needed, how they help. Far too much information to go through in this short video here. So that's a component. Secondly is the wall AHC exercise. So arms, head, chin, increasing mobility, increasing posture of the upper part of the neck, spine, etc. As it says, up against the wall, it is an exercise, and as you see, they're done quite regularly on a daily basis, sometimes more, in the first phase of one's care. Daily full spine range of motion exercise routine. It's a whole range of motion exercise from the top of the body right down to the bottom to make sure we have full range of motion. And then finally, we have wobble board half ball or mini tramp routine. The routine can be done on any of those. I prefer the wobble board or a balance board. And this takes a few minutes a day, and what it does is actually creates mobility, posture. It sets up the standard for stability and then remodeling in the weeks to come. So they're the components. One of the things I'd like to point out is if we move from phase 1 to phase 2, where we've got the wall AHC exercise with abdominal core breathing. So that's where that's added. So abdominal core breathing changes. So in phase 1, it's basically arms, head, chin in. So good posture. Okay, this is the movement pretty much here up against the wall. What it does is it makes sure that posture is correct. Totally opposed to what we are in this computerized world, even the industrial world, where we're looking at computers and screens and we're really down. This is to open our chest up, open the lungs up, to make sure we're breathing correctly, to make sure there's not excess tension through the neck, etc. And then as we move into step 2, you'll see that there is abdominal core breathing, because in that position there also, we focus on the breathing right from the core, right down from the belly button area. Now, most people think that we breathe in, like they say, breathe deep into the lungs. It's actually deeper than that. It should be right down to the belly button, right down into the pelvis. This is where, and the reason why that is because our breathing is controlled by the diaphragm, which is it basically anchors to the bottom of our lungs, bottom of our ribs, sorry. And what it does is it pulls down our lungs when we inflate the lungs. So what is it? It's basically it's right down, like right down here, belly button level. So what we want is we want to really breathe right down into our belly button, right down into our cavity here. If you ask any singers, if you ask any sports people where their power comes from, it doesn't come from up here. It doesn't come from upper lungs, throat, anything like that. It comes from right deep down from the abdomen. That's where all the power comes from in breath and also with regards to strength. So that's where we go through those components with abdominal core breathing. And then also we introduce the spinal hygiene exercises. So first of all, we're working on balance. We're working on making sure that the pathways for balance with regards to neural nervous system, so brain is activated more, etc. And then we start to move into functional movements. Okay, which is absolutely fantastic. So these are the components. So 4 components there, phase 1 through phase 4. Those who have come in this week, you can have picked that up and they can start implementing those at home. For more details, we have the guide. Yeah, all this information is free, so and readily available for all our patients and anyone in the community too. So that's it for today. If you want to, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel so that any of these videos you can be notified when they come up. Yeah, if you need any more information on this, just let me know. If you have any questions, just drop me a line. Okay, have a good day. Bye for now.